When Kathmandu plays hard to get.
Turkish 726, were you able to land?
When Mr. Minimum is ignored.
Minimum. Let's continue until 300 feet.
This is the story of Turkish Airline Flight 726. Wednesday the 4th March 2015. Turkish Airline Flight 726 is cruising its way to the city of Kathmandu, 44 minutes ahead of schedule. On board, there are 224 passengers and 11 crew. The crew is flying the beautiful Airbus A330-300, one of the most advanced planes in the sky. In command is 55-year-old captain, aided by his 47-year-old co-pilot. Both pilots have been given special training and are certified for Kathmandu's radio navigation approach. This will be the captain's first time landing here. The weather at Kathmandu isn't great, with visibility of 200 meters. Landing at Kathmandu will be tricky, but not for this experienced crew. We join the flight 2 hours before touchdown.
Kathmandu approach, this is Turkish 726 with you, descending to flight level 250. Kathmandu, Lurid.
Let's wait a bit. Try again.
Kathmandu approach, Lurid.
Still nothing.
Are we far?
No, I don't think that's the issue. Let's try again after 2 minutes. If no reply, then we hold at Parsa at 270, okay? Try again.
Kathmandu approach, Lurid.
Okay, we hold and wait a bit at 270. Try again.
Kathmandu approach, Lurid.
Kathmandu, go ahead.
Finally.
Kathmandu approach, this is Turkish 726 at flight level 270.
Turkish 726 copy. Unfortunately, visibility is at 100 meters and airport is closed. You will remain in hold for now.
Remaining in hold, Turkish 726.
Turkish 726, I have good news. Visibility now at 1,000 meters and airport is open. What are your intentions?
Stand by Turkish 726. Captain?
We are doing the RNAV approach. Tell him we are ready to do RNAV approach.
Okay. We are ready for an nav approach, Turkish 726.
Turkish 726 cleared for another approach. Report reaching Dovan.
Report reaching Dovan, Turkish 726.
All right, let's configure ourselves. Approach checklist, please.
Approach checklist. Approaching Dovan, Turkish 726.
Contact tower on 118.1. Good day.
Contact tower, Turkish 726. Tower, good morning, Turkish 726 on a nav approach for runway 2 Dovan.
Good morning, winds at 103 knots. Altimeter is 10.40, cleared to land.
726.
Final checklist.
Cabin crew.
Advised.
Auto thrusts.
Manage.
Configuration.
ECAM memo. Landing no blue.
Final checklist complete.
Check. Do you see the runway?
Negative.
Minimum. Minimums, no contact. Go around. Gear up, flaps up.
Gear up and flaps up. Turkish 726 going around.
Copy it. Hold at Ratin via Manray. Hold 10,500 feet.
Hold at Ratin at 10,500 feet, Turkish 726. Approach Turkish 726.
Turkish 726, go ahead.
What are the weather conditions now?
Turkish 726 visibility at 3,000 meters and 1,000 meters towards the southeast. Few clouds at 1,000 feet, started at 2,000 feet and broken at 10,000 feet.
Okay, Turkish 726.
Tell him we do a second approach.
All right. Approach Turkish 726. Request second approach.
Cleared for nav via Manri. Report reaching Reton.
Report reaching Reton, Turkish 726.
We're close to Reton. You can tell him now.
Okay. Approach Turkish 726 reaching Reton.
Copy. Report reaching Dovan 726.
Report reaching Dovan, Turkish 726.
Okay, speed and manage. Altitude 8,700 feet.
Check.
Flaps 1.
Speed check, flaps 1.
Flaps 2.
Flaps 2, speed check.
Flaps 3. Gear down.
Speed check, flaps 3, gear down.
On the glide, tell him we are reaching Duvan.
Approach Turkish 726 reaching Dovan.
726 contact tower on 118.1. Good day.
Tower on 118.2, good day. Tower Turkish 726 reaching Dovan.
Copy winds at 160.04 knots. Altimeter 10.14. Clear to land 726.
Clear to land Turkish 726.
Final checklist.
Cabin crew.
Advised.
Auto thrust.
Manage.
Configuration.
Ikememo landing no blue.
Final checklist complete.
Check.
Turkish 726, do you have runway in sight?
Not yet, but tell him that we continue.
Negative Turkish 726, but we continue.
Copy 726.
Tower, our approach lights on.
They are on full intensity.
Thank you 726.
500.
Airport should appear when we descend below.
400. 100 above. 300. Minimum.
Let's continue until 300 feet.
200.
Okay. Do you have contact?
100.
I have the runway in sight.
50. 40.
Autopilot off.
30. 20. Retard 10.
To the right, to the right.
Whoa!
At 6:49 local time, the A330's nose gear collapsed, throwing the nose to the ground and coming to rest on the grass between taxiway D and C. Everyone survived, but sadly, the A330 was too damaged to be repaired, and A330 was lost that day. What a horrible day it was. But do you know what can make this sadness go away? When you hit that subscribe button. So why did this landing go wrong? Two factors come in. One, the human factor, and two, the automation factor. On the human factor's point of view, the captain broke a crucial and basic rule when landing. He went below the minimum decision height before having the runway in sight, which ended badly for him and his plane. According to him, he said that he could see the runway when the minimum call-out was heard. But seeing the images taken from CCTV footage before the landing tells us another story. It was almost zero visibility at the time of the landing. After flying for nearly 5 hours and 30 minutes, being 44 minutes ahead of schedule, holding for 50 minutes for weather improvement before attempting the first approach, and spending nearly 15 minutes for the missed approach pattern before the second approach. Because of this long flight, the crew might have been fixated on landing and was discouraged from deviating to their alternate destination, causing them to take a risk which didn't end well. On the automation factor's point of view, there was a slightly small error in the A330's flight management computer. The flight management computer, or FMC for short, uses geographic coordinates to know where each waypoint of a flight is placed. And one of the waypoints, the one that is placed at the beginning of runway 02, the one the crew was landing on, was not accurate. It had wrong coordinates that placed it to the left side of the runway and slightly ahead of the runway. And by bad luck, the crew was doing an RNAV approach, which uses waypoints to guide the plane to the runway. With these two factors in, let us see how the events unfolded. At 6:57 local time, the plane crossed the second last waypoint and started heading to the waypoint that is placed at the beginning of runway 02. Remember that this waypoint had wrong coordinates, so instead of going to the center of the runway, the plane was heading to the left side of the runway. At 6:58 local time, the plane reached its minimum altitude, which was the altitude that the crew had to go around if they did not see the runway. The pilots didn't see the runway in sight, but decided to continue the approach until 4,300 feet, with the autopilot which was leading them to the left side of the runway. With no visual of the runway, the pilots didn't know that they were heading to the left side of the runway. At the last moment, just before touching down, the pilot saw the ground and disconnected the autopilot and tried to flare the plane, but it was already too late. The plane touched down with its nose gear and left wing gear on the grass. The nose gear later collapsed due to stress caused by the grass and mud. In spite of the flight management computer's coordinate error, the main culprit is still the pilots for attempting to land when they had passed the minimum altitude without having the runway in sight. But hey, the good thing of this crash is that all 224 passengers came out alive. No one injured. But sadly the plane was lost. Please, a moment of silence for the fallen A330. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.